You're listening to Heritage Radio Network.
It's the experience. I love seeing people. We had a few people, it was their first tree they ever cut down come out this year, which was so fun. And some people are so quick to pick a tree, and some people I think looked at every tree we have on our farm and need to wait for the right tree to speak to them. So I just love seeing the different families and how they interact and how they experience our property.
Welcome to One Bite is Everything, the podcast that connects every bite you take to the bigger world. Today, we're doing something a little unexpected. We're stepping briefly away from your dinner plate and into the pines. Every December, I bring this conversation back because it has become a listener favorite and because Tuckaway Trees has become an evergreen part of the show. If you think about it, Christmas trees are not so far from the food world. They grow in the same soil, rely on the same weathered patterns, and depend on the same small family farmers who make our everyday meals possible. They remind us that our traditions, our celebrations, and our seasonal rituals are rooted in land and in the people who steward it. So consider this a tiny detour that still leads you to the heart of what we talk about every week: real people, real farms, and real connections that bring meaning into our lives. Today, I'm talking with Ashley of Tuckaway Trees, a family-run Christmas tree farm that is as charming as it is hardworking. Ashley, who farms with her husband Larry, shares how trees grow, how long it takes to raise the perfect Christmas tree, what the holiday rush looks like behind the scenes, and why small specialty farming matters more than we think. It's a conversation filled with joy, hard work, local economy, and the steady hand of a farmer growing something that becomes a symbol in millions of homes. Whether you celebrate with a tree or not, this episode taps into the magic of seasonal farming and the deep threads that connect land to family to community. It's a story worth returning to each year. Let's head over to the picturesque Tuckaway Trees farm in central Pennsylvania, right in the middle of Christmas tree season.
So my husband and I bought this in 2020, and we first saw it in 2013. So it took us about 7 years from when we saw the property till when we were actually able to make it happen. It turned out my pap knew the owner and he was looking to sell. We actually got the opportunity in 2020 to close on the property. It had been a Christmas tree farm before, but they clear cut all the big trees. They had about 3 years of trees in the ground when we purchased it. So we had a head start, but kind of starting from scratch on rebuilding and regrowing this farm. It really started because we fell in love with the property and we just wanted to have a place to be able to share it with others. So having the trees brings people out at Christmas time, obviously, but we also added some fall events and a pumpkin patch, and we're doing that. And now we're adding some glamping opportunities to get people to the farm all year round. So just different ways to share this place we love with other people.
Just a little history lesson before we continue on the farm. Christmas trees have a longer story than most people guess. Long before Christmas even existed, evergreens symbolized life and protection during winter in cultures from Egypt to Northern Europe. The true ancestor of the modern tree appeared in medieval Germany when families brought paradise trees into their homes on December 24th and decorated them with apples, wafers, and sweets. By the 1600s, decorated fir trees were a beloved German household tradition. The custom spread to England when Queen Victoria and her German husband, Prince Albert, were pictured standing beside their tree, and that single image launched the Christmas tree craze across the English-speaking world. German immigrants carried it into American homes, and by the 20th century, it had grown into a full agricultural specialty, with farmers tending each tree for nearly a decade before harvest.
We have about 15,000 trees planted to date. But it takes 6 to 8 years from when we plant a tree till it's about ready to be a Christmas tree. So they grow on average about a foot a year. So it's a longer term crop. We had about a 3 year head start, had some about 3 foot trees when we purchased. And so this was our first Christmas that we were actually open to sell trees. And we sold a small number, nothing huge, maybe some 5, 6 footers to some people, but we were able to start opening up again, having people know that we're here and we're growing and we're going to be here in a bigger way in the future.
Do you have different varieties of pines?
We do. So we grow a lot of firs for Christmas trees. So we grow a lot of Canadian firs, which are similar to a Fraser fir. We grow Douglas fir and conkeler fir, which are a white fir. They smell a lot like oranges. They're very popular. And then we have a few other varieties, but those are our main ones. And then we also grow Norway spruce and some other white pines. We dig those a lot more for landscaping, though. So we'll dig them with the root ball. Some people get those for Christmas so they can plant it in their yard afterwards, too.
When you're planting them yourself, you're planting little saplings?
It is. So they're already probably 3 or 4 years old. So we plant them. They're called usually 2-2s. So they spend 2 years in a seedling bed, 2 years in a transplant bed. And then we get them and plant them in our fields for another 6 to 8 years until they're ready to be cut down for Christmas trees.
According to the National Christmas Tree Association, approximately 25 to 30 million real Christmas trees are sold in the U.S. every year, and close to 350 million real Christmas trees are currently growing on Christmas tree farms in the U.S. alone, all planted by farmers, and they grow in all 50 states. What's more is this. Christmas trees are priced at an average of $75 each and contribute to an annual $2 billion business. So this year was the first year that I've cut down a Christmas tree.
Really?
Yes. My husband did not want to go. At first, he's like, I don't want to cut down a Christmas tree. I was like, but we could just go. And it's better than sometimes you go to a place and there's thousands of Christmas trees on the lot and they're already cut down. My family wants to oh, I don't know about that one. Or no, I'm like, it's a tree. I love it. Just take it. This is the first one's great. I'm very sensitive about it. And so we went to a Christmas tree farm and I handed him the saw and I got a little map and we went out to where I think we got a Fraser. And there were different kinds, all sizes, little, big, etc. It's been around for a real long time. And it's it was his grandfather's farm and he's in his 80s. So he was driving the tractor. Yeah, he came and picked us up. But the Christmas trees they had a very long trunk and then we cut the top part. Is that something that you all do?
So we do cut some of the bottom branches off to have a longer trunk. One of the reasons we do that is to keep the tree healthy. So if there's more airflow underneath, then they're getting more nutrients. We don't have to worry as much about too much moisture down there or bugs. So it really just helps with the tree health for us. And then it also helps for people coming that they're getting what they think they're getting. So if there's a lot of lower branches and you have to cut them off to get into your stand, your tree may look completely different when you get it home. So it's just helpful to have some of those lower branches, we call it basal pruning, cut off so that you can see what you're getting and keep our trees healthier.
It was really fun. And he's committed now. He's like, we're going back there next year.
And you get a very fresh tree if you cut it yourself, which is great. And for us, we don't have any waste because people are cutting their own trees.
The ones that are wasted, so to speak, the ones that are cut down and never find a home, they become mulch or become part of a storm barrier in coastal areas. Still more of them become food for livestock. My goats love an old Christmas tree and make short work of the needles.
So we don't have a lot that are cut waiting for people if we overestimate how many people are going to buy trees. So it's helpful for us to do it this way. And it's the experience. I love seeing people. We had a few people, it was their first tree they ever cut down come out this year, which was so fun. And some people are so quick to pick a tree. And some people, I think, looked at every tree we have on our farm and need to wait for the right tree to speak to them. So I just love seeing the different families and how they interact and how they experience our property.
Yeah, they all have a process, right? Everybody's got their own tradition. I had on reindeer antlers, so we had a lot of fun.
That's perfect. Yeah, I love all the people that dress up in the costumes. It's been a lot of
So tell me, are there tips for keeping trees fresh once you've got them in your Christmas tree stand?
Really, the biggest thing is to keep it watered. I think if you let it dry out, it can form that sap layer on the bottom and it doesn't take up water as well. So, water, water, water is really the key thing. I've heard that hot water, a little bit warmer, may help it absorb a little better. And then not keeping it too close to a heat source. We have a fireplace. We keep ours on the other side of the room. So it's not right next to the fireplace to dry out. But if you keep it watered, you cut it fresh, you should be set even from Thanksgiving, a month from Thanksgiving to Christmas or longer. I usually have to bug my husband about mid-January that it's time to let the tree go.
Absolutely. Now, what kind of tree did you all put in your house?
We put a conkler up. We actually picked one that was a little more wild. I think our tree is probably 12 feet tall. So we picked a big one. I'm still in the process of decorating. We just got the lights on, working on the ornaments now. We just cut our tree down on Sunday. So we're a little bit behind the game on this.
Well, the cobbler's kids go without shoes. So that
Exactly.
apply to Christmas tree farmers. Now, is what happens for you guys between, let's call it, January 1st and next year when you're going to be selling trees again? Is there a lot of farm maintenance that needs to happen?
January and February are usually pretty slow. We'll catch up on some of the pruning that we didn't get done if it's above freezing. So we'll wait till if it's above freezing and do some pruning then. But our season really kicks off in March. We'll start planting trees in March and April, get everything in the ground, all of our new trees, probably 1,000 to 2,000 trees, depending on how much room we have. Over the summer, I think beginning June for some of our pines and then July for our firs, we'll start pruning all of the new growth and new trees and then planting pumpkins, all of that fun stuff. And then it's all the maintenance, the mowing, weed control, monitoring for pests, just making sure everything's all taken care of throughout the year until we get to the Christmas season again.
And what kind of pests can harm Christmas?
Lots of different bugs. We border state forests, so there's a lot of unmanaged trees around us. So we're watching for bagworms and different kind of bugs. And we also have a lot of deer issues in our area. So that's something that we're cognizant of, working on some fencing for the future. But just anything that can damage our trees, groundhogs, anything that causes issues on the farm.
So I know that you have a little bit of a mission in addition. I mean, obviously you're selling Christmas trees, but is there a trend for people to be getting artificial Christmas trees now? Or how are you're kind of bringing the Christmas tree back or helping it stay?
We want to make sure that keep Christmas real. We are really big proponents as real trees are the way to go. They're better for the environment. They are renewable, recyclable, they're sustainable. We're replanting every year. And we've actually seen an increase in the past couple of years of people getting real trees. During COVID, when people weren't traveling, we saw some growth in people getting Christmas trees, staying home for the holidays, wanting to have more experiences outside. So that has increased a little bit, and we'd love to see that keep going. We are planting 1 to 3 trees for every tree we cut down. And while we're in this regrowth stage, our numbers are even higher than that. The trees that are growing, they provide habitat for wildlife, they provide oxygen. I think the stat is every 1 acre of a Christmas tree farm is enough oxygen for 18 people. So just them growing is providing a lot of benefits during their lifespan. And after they're done, we turn ours into mulch, but there's a ton of ways to recycle your trees. Some people put them at the bottom of lakes. I know that some people feed them to their sheep or their goats. So there's a lot of things you can do to really have full use of that tree even after Christmas is over.
And how many acres do you have there?
We have 36 and probably about 20 of them are planted with Christmas trees.
And what's next for you guys? What's on the horizon? I'm sure it sounds like you've always got your glamping, you've got your pumpkins. What's next on the back burner there?
We really want to expand our retail space. So we have some renovations planned for our shop for next year. And we're also looking to add some more off-grid glamping sites to our farm. So we have a couple, we're looking at maybe an A-frame for next year as a place for people to come stay. So those are some of the bigger things. We'll definitely do pumpkins again, keep growing our Christmas trees, look at if we can, do more wreath production, retail, what we can do. But those are the big things for next year.
Tell me about your glamping opportunity. Like, how do I find it and what does it entail?
So right now we have a platform tent. So you can come stay in the tent. It has a queen bed with a mattress. There's a fire pit. There's basically all the tools you need to come camping if you aren't a camper. So it's basically a setup campsite just to come enjoy. It's at the edge of our pond, has a great view. And you can find it's on Airbnb. And then I also have the link through all of my social media and website. But it's just a great way to come experience the outdoors, even if you don't own a tent or aren't a big camper. So you can just bring your sleeping bag or whatever you want to sleep in, and you're ready to, you have the firewood there, you're set for your campsite.
It sounds perfect. Now let's talk about pumpkins for a minute. I'm a huge pumpkin fan. I've always grown pumpkins in my garden, and I've discarded the pumpkins in my manure pile out behind my barn. And this year I had 75 pumpkins.
That's
Which
great.
for me was a lot. I used to have 14 was a lot. And this year just exploded out in my manure and compost pile. And so I think I'm going to take the pumpkins out of my garden where they tend to take over my broccoli and my tomatoes and just go with the ones out in the field, which is exciting. But it's so much fun to have a lot of pumpkins. Tell me what you're growing.
Our first year, I think we had some beginner's luck, and I just planted a whole lot of seeds in about a 1/4 acre field. And I think we ended up in the realm of 500 or so pumpkins and get a final total, but we had a lot. This year, I did not do as well. I got a smaller amount and we brought in some other pumpkins, but I had a baby July 4th. So that kind of impacted my pumpkin growing season and my own gardening. Looking forward to bringing back my pumpkin patch this year in a bigger way. So I'm excited to have a bigger pumpkin patch.
Here is something you might not know about a Christmas tree farm.
People think that they're just a special kind of tree that just looks like a Christmas tree. I think that people may not realize that we actually touch every tree every year to get that Christmas tree shape. So we're going around, shaping the top, the leader of the tree, the sides to make it be full and, able to be that perfect Christmas tree. So I think it's a lot of work to get that tree where it is. And I don't think a lot of people know that. It's right now just my husband, Larry, and I. So we've touched every tree on the farm. So it's a lot of fun. And I think it's actually very relaxing, but it doesn't just magically happen.
I think that's so personal. It comes from you guys. And then people are out there scouring for their perfect tree. And then when they find it.
But yeah, we had a part in how that tree looks. So that is very special. And I love when people are sending us pictures of their Christmas trees decorated that they got from our farm. It's so fun to see what they look like. They all look beautiful when they get home and have all the ornaments on. But I love to see that.
Now, for me at the holidays, I like to really get my tree up early, which is different from how I used to do it. But I love having it up early and just to be able to sit by it and have a quiet night with fire in the fireplace on the other side of the room. And before all of the holiday mayhem comes down, and we just really enjoy it. And we talk about it a lot. Like, oh, it's just so good to sit here. I love to keep them up as long as possible. But
it smells so good. Yeah, I think it makes your home feel so much cozier over the holidays, having a tree in there. We used to get our tree up very early. Now, I think we're a little bit behind getting everyone else their trees, but we keep it up as long as possible, too. We love to have the Christmas tree in our house.
You can just walk outside and look at all the rest of them.
Exactly. I think the other thing I get from some people that you're cutting down a tree, ruining a tree's life by cutting down a Christmas tree. And I think that for us, really, it is a crop. We plant it as a crop. We're replanting every year. There's a cycle of it. And those trees wouldn't be there if we weren't planting them. It's not like we're going into the woods and cutting down all the trees that are in the forest. So I think that that's something that people may not realize. And the other great thing about our farm is it is mostly a hill. We're farming on slopes that are not really great for other crops, but they're good for Christmas trees. That's something that we think is special. And we're excited that we're able to use our land for trees. And it's not necessarily going to be good for other crops.
And those little seedlings that you were mentioning, you get them from a source and bring them to your farm. Do you also sell those to people who might want to start a Christmas tree farm?
We don't. We get them from nurseries that specialize in starting trees from seed. So we order them in from different sources, a lot of them from Michigan or other Christmas tree growing states. Pennsylvania is actually one of, I think, the top 5 Christmas tree growing states. And then we plant those. So we don't start anything from seed on our farm, but the property next to us has an old orchard on it where they harvest the seeds to grow Christmas trees. So there are some older Canaan firs that they take the cones, get the seeds out and extract them to grow the seedlings.
And remind me which one smells like oranges?
It's a conkeler fir.
Okay. I got to make a note of that. That sounds amazing.
It is. We got one in our house this year. When you walk in, it's a very strong smell. It's great.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too.
Thanks for being here with me for this episode of One Bite is Everything, the podcast that connects every bite, and in this case, an annual tradition that serves as a centerpiece for family celebration. We connect every bite you take to the bigger world. If this episode brought you a little holiday warmth or joy, remember that the stories you hear here turn into real-world impact through the For Farmers movement. Your support helps small farmers keep doing the work that keeps all of us rooted and nourished. You can learn more at forfarmersmovement.com, and you can always follow along on Instagram at XOXOFarmGirl. If you enjoyed today's episode, please rate and review One Bite is Everything on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening to this episode. It helps more listeners like you discover the show and helps us bring more farmers, more chefs, more thought leaders, and more intrigue. You could think of it as a little early Christmas present to me if you'd like. Reviews always make me exceedingly happy. Special thanks always to Russell Chapa for sound editing and original music. I am your host, Dana DePrima, and I will see you right here again next week. Until then, eat or pick out your family Christmas tree like it matters, because it does.